Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of T-Dog RC. It's not night time for once. I'm actually getting to film this on a Saturday morning, which is pretty unusual because weekends are usually pretty busy looking after my little boy. But so yeah, I've got a bit of spare time, so I thought I'd do a quick YouTube video on. I've done the build video on this EFX Racer, but one of the things I want to do is put a Kopilot autopilot system in from ZOHD. The reason I want to do that is not because I want to use it for the stabilisation side of things, but it's purely for two reasons. Number one, it's got the return to home feature, and these things go pretty fast. It's relatively small, so it will get out of sight very quickly. So it'd be quite nice to have that flicker switch and return to home. And also it has the auto launch feature, which I can use on this, which I've done with other models. And if you check out some of my other videos, in fact, I'll put a card up. I think it's that side. So you can see I mix channel 6 with channel 3 and plug the throttle control into channel 6, which gives me control of the throttle rather than the Kopilot. And that means that you can flick it into return to home mode, throttle up, and then launch the plane, and it will fly off. So there's no worries about hand launching it either. So that's the plan for today. What I'm going to do is put my head cam on so you can see. I've got to make a little plate for inside here for it to sit on, and I'm also using a little 3Sky S-Bus receiver. So let's get stuck in. Right, as I mentioned, my wife is taking my little boy to see some friends at the park. He's 3 years old, so he's an absolute handful at the minute. So it's rare that I get to do these things at the weekend, so it's quite nice to actually film something in the daylight. Sorry about the sun. So first job I've got to do is, this is 3Sky XSR, I think it is, and it comes with a servo plug, which plugs into here. But the yellow S-Bus lead is actually, this is configured for S-Port. So the first job I've got to do is you have to move, in order to use this, you have to move, well, you don't, yeah, you could either solder a new one of these leads up, or you can move this yellow lead across one, and that puts it into the S-Bus out port. So you just push this down. So yeah, just lift the tab up there and just pull that lead out, and then we move it across one to the next hole along, and that is the S-Bus out. It's pretty fiddly because it's pretty small, but we'll get there. There we go. That's in place there. So we've got negative, positive, and then S-Bus out. So that will then go into here. Whoops. Like this. Sorry, this way around. And there we go. We can then plug that straight into the, that'll plug into the Kopilot now, and we can use the Kopilot via S-Bus. Right, let's just get this Kopilot open. So that's it. So what I'm planning on doing is, can only go this way. You can't mount these on their side or anything like that. It's got to go like that with the arrow pointing forwards, which is the only downside to these. But I'm planning on basically making a little ply plate that's going to sit on there, and I'll glue it to the sides here. It's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze, but it'll just sit there like that. And then the receiver, obviously being nice and small, I will just glue it somewhere around here to the side, essentially. So first thing I need to do is just get a little plywood plate made up for that. So let's have a quick look to see what size this is. About 4.5 mils, I think it should do it, by about probably 3.5. So let me just go and get some ply. this? There you go, 4.5 pretty much. That's about 3.5 there. Right, let's have a look, see how this fits. Just a gnat's whisker too big. Okay, I think that is pretty much spot on. It's a nice tight fit. That's going to sit on there nicely. And as you can see, that butts right up to those servos. So if we get the Kopilot now, stick that on there, that's going to sit on there a treat. So that'll go on there like that. So all I've got to do now is just glue this into position. I think I'll probably just use a little bit of CA with some kicker. It only needs a little bit of glue because it's a really nice tight fit. And then servo leads are just going to go around here and plug in there. So, well, actually no, sorry, I might tuck those under the other way, but I'll see about that. So yeah, let's get some CA and some kicker. In fact, before I glue it, I'm just going to test which way these servo leads are going to fit in, because it could be a bit tight, I think, putting it that way. Yeah, so I'm going to have to just pull these servo leads up and over, basically, so I think we'll just take that out. Hopefully they're not going to foul too much with the actual servos. I might just have to put a cable tie around those just to protect them, or in fact I've got some liner. Okay, so that's everything plugged in. I think that's going to be safe there because they're all sort of huddled together there. They're not actually interfering with these, but I will just put a little bit of protective covering around there, I think, just to give them a bit of extra protection from the servos. Yeah, that's going to sit there pretty nicely. So we'll get this covering on and we'll get that glued into place. So let's try and thread these through if we can. Okay, don't tell the wife, but I actually just used her Dyson hairdryer just to put a bit of heat shrink on here, and just use the hairdryer to shrink it down, because it does get pretty hot for a hairdryer, but it's nowhere near as hot as a heat gun, so it's ideal really, because obviously I didn't want to melt anything around here. So that just keeps those bundled up and just gives them a little bit of extra protection in case they, it's not going to foul up on the servo leads there. So happy with that. So I think next job then, let's get some CA onto this so it doesn't move around. Right, so I'm just going to put a line down the edge there, blast it with a bit of kicker. And then do the same on the other side. You can see it's a really nice tight fit, and it actually butts up against these glass fibre bars, so that's ideal. It's nice and strong. Give that a couple of minutes to go off, and we should be golden. Okay, so next job is we'll just get this mounted. It does come with some pads, so I think that's probably what I'll use, but if that comes off I might just hot glue that on there. Let's have a quick look in the box, because they do supply you with like a pad cut specifically like that. So that just goes on there like that. It's a perfect fit. So let's get that stuck on. You can see I'm getting dangerously low on tea. I might have to go and make another one in a minute. Okay, that's stuck on there. And let's get this stuck into place. Obviously being careful to check the arrow, because you don't want to stick it like that or like that. The arrow's got to be pointing forwards. So let's get that put there. That looks good to me. So we'll press that down. You do need this to be solid, because even though I'm not going to be using it for stabilisation, even in return to home mode, if this came off, it would cause rather a lot of havoc, because it wouldn't know which way up it was or anything like that. So you do need to make sure this is a good solid install. Right, next job then, let's get these servo leads hooked up. So the throttle I am going to put into the auxiliary port, which is channel 6 on this, and the reason for that, as I've said, is I want to control the throttle. I don't want the Kopilot to control the throttle for me on this model. So that's the aileron lead. Then we've got rudder. Actually, I'll put the elevator in next. We'll leave throttle obviously and plug the rudder into here. Nice. And I don't think that's going to catch on the canopy either, but if it does I might just have to cut a little bit out the underside of the canopy just so that sits flush, but I think it will be okay, so I'll worry about that later. But yeah, that's all good there. You can see, you might be able to see as well, just where this fibre bar is, there is a little sort of 1mm, maybe 1.5mm lip. So it's the board is also sat on there as well. So yeah, it should be fine. I can't see why that would move, unless obviously I have a crash. Okay, so now all we need to do is plug in the receiver. So S bus is this side, Oh yeah, I forgot. It comes, this plug that they supply with comes with the little knot. I can't think what I'm trying to say. It comes with the guide that goes into the notch, but that doesn't fit on the Kopilot, so I've just got to trim this down. Being careful not to cut my finger, of course. Oh, fits like a glove. Awesome. Okay, so we've just got to find somewhere to put the receiver, and I think really I'm going to have to kind of stick it here. And like I say, I'll just use a blob of hot glue on that. I've just put a bit of heat shrink on first, just to protect the receiver. I don't think 3 Sky supply you any in the packet. So that's going to go there. Before I do that though, I'm going to get it bound up, because it will be a nightmare to press the bind button while it's stuck in there. I might have an aerial lead sort of poking up out the side like this, and then I'll glue this one along the side like that. So I've got them at 90 degrees. Okay, so I'm just going to get the receiver bound up. So I'll get that done and then be back in a minute. All right, so that's everything done, all complete. Pretty chuffed with the way this has gone. So just to show you what I've done to get it finished up. So I've put the GPS unit there, that's just hot glued onto the wing. I've just used some Blenderm tape to fasten the wire there, which is not perfect, but it's, you know, it's a bit difficult to do unless I put a hole in the side, which I'm not sure about doing that with it being such a fast aircraft. I don't really want to put a hole into the side of the fuselage in case it weakens it in any way. So we'll see how that goes, but should be okay there. Canopy still goes on. I've had to trim a tiny little bit off that just to get it on, but only a tiny bit. It's pretty snug inside, as you can see, but everything fits in. Battery's very snug in there. We've got the Kopilot there, and then on this side here we've got the receiver, which I've just hot glued to the side there. I've got one area running down there, and then this one I'll just stick that out when I put the canopy on. So that should give me the right reception. Then you've got this with the Kopilot, which is the little control board. I tend to leave these unplugged because once I've got it set up, you unplug this and it remembers the settings. But what is important is if, like me, you've got a few models now with Kopilots, you do need one of these for each model. So if you're down at the field and you've got a couple of models with you that have got Kopilots in, you need one of these for each one. You do get one with every Kopilot, but you can't just plug any controller into any Kopilot because it will pick up the settings that are on this controller. So what I tend to do is I just write on the back of here what plane this is for. So I'll just put EFX on the back of that, and then I'll take that with me to the field just in case I need to make any adjustments at the field. But as I said lots of times, I don't tend to use these for stabilisation, so it's more just for the launch and return to home, so you don't really have to do too many settings for that. But I have got it set up. I've set all the surfaces up, you know, and checked those that they're moving in the right direction when it's in stabilised mode. Yeah, so just one quick thing. I'm sure a lot of people that watch this are experienced, but you can see I have got it powered up and I have got the prop on the bench, which I know is a big no-no. So just be very, very careful. Don't do what I've done. If you're going to be messing around like this, take the prop off. I have got a throttle cut set on my radio, so I'm not going to knock the throttle by accident, but you could do yourself a nasty injury if you left the prop on and powered it up on your bench. So yeah, pretty chuffed with that. Next thing to do is get out and fly it, which hopefully it sounds to me like we're just about to go into another national lockdown, which is brilliant. Third one in a row. Everyone's sick of it now, but there we are. So who knows when I'll get out to fly this, but I'll certainly be recording it when I do. Really looking forward to flying this one. I think hopefully this is going to be an absolute cracker. The reviews are superb of it, so should be good fun. Thanks again for watching. If you like what I'm doing, please hit the subscribe button and the bell button, and then you'll get notified every time I put a new video out. And of course, give me a thumbs up as well. This all helps me to increase my channel. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon.